All right, y'all, welcome back to another one. I am super excited to bring you guys this video. You know, there's one thing to say something, and there's one thing to really document it, and I think you're gonna see that in this video. Hey, real quick, it has come to my attention. Did you know that 70% of the people who watch my videos are not subscribed? So if you don't mind, take a couple of seconds, do me a favor. If you like my content, if you like these type of videos, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. And while you're down there, you know, subscribing, hit that thumbs up, that like button. You would be amazed at how much it helps, you know, especially videos like mine. It really shows that algorithm. These videos are beneficial, educational, important. So I'd appreciate it if you guys do that. Okay, so little backstory here. I always get questions on how often I should rebait and relure a set, okay? I get that question all the time. Now, this is something that I've always kind of known in the back of my head, but it's very hard, like I said, to say this without documentation. So I'd like to thank Spy Point for making this video possible. If you guys are in the market for you know, a cell camera or a trail camera, I've been running Spy Points for a couple of years, and I can only speak highly of them, right? So anyway, want to thank them for help making this video possible. Okay, so little backstory here. Last year I had a opportunity to trap a location, and like I said, this location, it was like 500 yards back in the timber. I wasn't going to make it part of my daily trap line just because of the logistics of it, but I had seen coyotes consistently go by this trail camera every day, and I had a situation where I could make a set, and then I had other obligations. I had to pull it. I actually made a video on it. You guys check it out. I think I call it like I Suck at Trapping. But to kind of summarize that video, I only had one day to go in and make this set and check it, right? So I went in, like I said, I'm gonna throw up some clips here as I'm speaking so you guys will kind of get an understanding of what I'm talking about. So I had seen coyotes there previous days before. I had seen coyotes there actually the night before. So I went in on December 15th of last year. I went in and I made a set. All right, so there we go. That's the set. You can see steep angles on that trench. Kind of use that log for backing, but most importantly, right in front of that trail camera and right on the trail. I mean, right on. So I made a standard step down dirt hole set. This is the set that I use for 90% of my canine trapping, and made this set. Came back and checked it the next day. Of course, coyotes didn't run through that night. I didn't catch anything, okay? So that was December 15th. I pulled the set on December 16th, okay? But I left the trail camera there, and I continued to document the activity, right? The activity. So as you guys can see, there was active canine activity at this set for a long time, right? So we had rain, we had sleet, we had snow. Now, whenever I pulled this set, I didn't destroy the set. Basically, all I did was just pull the trap up out of the bed, and I left the set pretty much intact. So we, you know, time progressed. You could see all the way through the rest of December, and like I said, make sure you look at the timestamps on these videos and pictures, because that's really where the truth comes out. So all through December, all through January, into February, I'm still having active canine activity at this set. Play this clip here and you guys can see. So look at that. That coyote actually came around, worked the front of the set just like he was supposed to. You can see both his feet are down in that set. If I had a trap there, I would have caught him, right? I mean, he worked that set just I mean, textbook, like you would want him to do. So kept the camera running. Finally, I switched over to pictures instead of video, because I was just honestly looking for deer to see if they had shed or not. But anyway, you guys can see that I think the last picture I got before the battery went dead was February 20th. So over 2 months after I made this initial set, and I still had Coyote, you can see his nose, like he's actively working that set. So over 2 months after I made this set, I still had coyotes working it. I think that speaks volumes. I really do, because I always get the question, how often do you rebait and relure? And honestly, I say, you know, in my trapping and the way I do it, the only time I will, quote, freshen up a set is after I make a catch. And the reason I do that is because normally, you know, the set's kind of messed up, you're redigging out a dirt hole, and I just want, you know, a brand new focal point. Okay, so that's generally the only time that I will even mess with a set. Now every time I make a set making video, I emphasize that you don't need to overbait and overlure. And I always have several people, what do you mean don't overbait, overlure? And, you know, what I'm saying is there's no need to dump, you know, dump a bottle of bait or a bottle of lure down the hole. You guys can see, you could see from whenever I made this set, and I'll show you. I've got my bait bucket here. So this is what I use. I got my little bait fork here. I'll scoop out bait. I would say generally like a tablespoon of bait is all I'll use. I mean, it doesn't take much. You got to realize that these critters, they are geared so totally different. I mean, their senses are just so vastly out of the realm of what we can understand, you know, that you just don't need that much, okay? So even with my lure, right, generally I'll take a stick, a little stick like this. I'll take my bottle of lure, dab it in the bottle, and throw it down the hole. I mean, that's all. And that's exactly what I did with this set. You know, there's no trickery here. This is exactly what I did with this set, except for the fact I left it for over 2 months and coyotes were still working it. So I don't know. I think that's so cool to be able to actually, you know, put a visual to this and actually show you guys what I've been saying for years and years and years. I think it's super cool. So I very rarely talk about bait and lure on this channel, and I know it aggravates a lot of people, and this is probably gonna piss off the whole trapping industry, but I really do. I don't talk about bait and lure a lot, and for those of you who know, I've talked about this before, but for those of you who don't know, and I'll explain why. Bait and lure is important. Don't get me wrong. It is important. However, the reason I don't talk about bait and lure, you know, so much is because I believe people, especially new people to trapping, they will look at a bait and lure selection and they will use it as a crutch for their trapping. And what I mean by that is, you know, bait and lure is only one piece of the puzzle to be successful, okay? And more important than bait and lure is location, okay? Then there's other factors involved, you know, set making, proper bedding, all these other little things add up to make you successful. But I think a lot of people, they get the impression, you know, I need this one bait and this one lure, and you know, you can have the best bait or the best lure or whatever you want to title it as, but if you're not in a good location where there's critters, you're not going to catch anything, okay? So I mean, you're not. It's simple, and so that's why I honestly don't talk about bait and lure quite as much. I think there should be more emphasis on other things, okay? Now, I still want to give credit where credit is due, because, like I said, this set worked for over 2 months in some pretty nasty winter conditions. So I know I'm going to get questions on soil. So the bait that I use, the bait that I put down the hole, is my homemade bait. It's the stuff that I've used for years. It's just a meat-based bait. There's nothing special about it. And then the lure that I used was actually it was jet fuel. This is made by my buddy Justin. Justin Jett over at Hoosier Trapper Supply. So if you guys would like to check that out, jump over to Hoosier Trapper Supply, get you a bottle of jet fuel. I'm sure he'll appreciate it. Like I said, proof's in the pudding. That set was working for 2 months. And that was a testament, I think, to the bait and the lure. Obviously, the smell, you know, was what drew them there. So while you're there at Hoosier, if you would like to support me in any particular way, the best way to do it, I've got some t-shirts, I've got some hats, I've got some hoodies, we got trapping packages. We got a lot of cool stuff over there at Hoosier, so that's a great way to support me too. But I want to give credit where credit is due, because like I said, that is a testament. That set sat in there for 2 months. So anyway, y'all, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, this was really cool to make and really cool to document. So it took a minute to put together, but I'm super glad I did, because hopefully I can get that out there and just kind of show you guys how often you should actually rebait and relure. I never messed with this set ever again. I put it in the ground and I was done. Okay, didn't come back to it. So I think that speaks volumes. Hopefully you guys learned something from this. If you did, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about stuff like this. I'd be curious to hear you guys' thought. I'm gonna get back on the line, y'all, but I just want to stop and make this short video for y'all. All right, y'all, trapping season's in full swing. Super excited. I'm geared up, ready to go. As always, appreciate the view. We'll see you on the next one.